May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Lord. Lord, amen. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
No football this weekend. It's coming up. Not that any of us care about football. So where the heck have I been? I just kind of disappeared. And that was not really intentional. I started out on sabbatical. And because I was on sabbatical, I was really pressed to look very hard at some things that had occurred in my life. One of them was the loss of hope. Hope was a dog. Hope was a trauma dog. And when we got her, she wouldn't come out of the crate. She was so afraid of not having food or not having anything that she would hide potatoes in the back of the crate. And at first she wouldn't come out except to use the bathroom out in a famous dog fight, right? That loss was so painful. It still is. Because over a period of time, Hope did her best to be a normal dog. It was hard for her. Loud noises, boisterous dog. But we were gathered together at night at dinner, all of us. And she wouldn't sit and gather with the other dogs. She would stand at a distance. And she would come up to me and nose my elbow. And when I wasn't paying attention to this one, she would nudge this one. And then when I wasn't paying attention to that, she'd nudge my thigh. Hope was trying to be the best dog she could be. And then one day she was gone. And I still feel her nudge me. It's welcome, you know. Because I believe that she's at peace, and I think that the reason that she's at peace is because we're at peace. Kind of. Because we got a new puppy. His name is Huck. We got Huck sick. He was really sick when we got him. Had bad skin, rash, skinny, scrawny. He only weighed about, 14 pounds, I think. Now he weighs 60. He's 5 months old. He had been starving, really, pretty much. But he's filled that spot to some degree. But it pressed me. The intensity of the feelings that I was having pressed me. Pressed me to discern. Jeff, thank you for reading the gospel. Readings. Discern. So I started on a process of discernment. And I traveled, I went to California, and spent some time with relatives, spent time with my daughter. When I came back from that trip, knowing that I was going to do something, I wasn't certain really until I met with the bishop. When I met with the bishop, I told him that I had But I had heard about an animal chaplaincy program. And that I was interested in becoming an animal chaplain. What an animal chaplain does is look after animals, their pets, and their people. Because when you're 75 years old and the only thing you have in your life is a little chihuahua, and that little chihuahua dies, what happens to that pain? That sense of loss? And what do we offer folks who are going through that grief? We understand the grief of losing a family member, but how well do we understand the grief of losing hope? We found hope. We found hope in a little dog that I call Huckleberry. And every day, he wakes me up. He comes upstairs and wakes me up. How can you not love that? How can that not mean something to you as a human being? When I see the things that animals are going through these days, then I would have no peace unless I followed that path. And that's what I'm doing. In September, I'll be starting an animal chaplaincy school. What that means in terms of what I'm doing here, I don't know. I have a hope that maybe it's a way to kindle a greater interest in our companions. Those animals that come to become members of our family. And when we lose them, we mourn them like a member of the family. I'm hoping that I can get something rolling here in the diocese so that we can provide services and counseling to people and their pets. Do whatever it takes to find peace in the pain that's left in the loss of an animal. That's what I'll be doing. Now something else to talk to you about. When the bishop and I decided to do this, we both knew it was time for me to follow another path. That's discernment. And discernment can be very painful. It's not like you just sit and write a list. Discernment comes from the internal part of you that is closely connected to God. And if you listen to that voice and ask for wisdom and clarity, and you're willing to do the footwork, you can get it. I don't know what path it's going to lead you on. I know what path it will lead you on. My health problems. I want to talk about this now because it's relatively new and I want all of you to know, because you're going to know people like me. I'm Ron Morton. I'm a veteran of the Vietnam War. I worked on the flight deck of the aircraft carrier Ticonderoga. During the war, there were a number of us on an aircraft carrier, on a lot of aircraft carriers, who were exposed to Agent Orange. And I've been fighting with the Veterans Administration since 2002 to draw attention to the illnesses that I had as a result of being a sailor working on the flight deck of the aircraft carrier Ticonderoga. At first they said we were not exposed to Agent Orange. And then they said, well, wait a minute. Yeah, some of you had to be, because you're in the Gulf of Tonkin. That's off the coast of Vietnam. And some of you were in really, really close. But if you weren't in close enough, you didn't get Agent Orange certification. Now, 20 years later. I'm continuing to seek those services that I think are owed me by the Veterans Administration and the federal government. And it's been really, really hard. And it's still really, really hard for a lot of military people out there. We believe the VA is waiting for us all to die. Get us out of their hair. That's what it feels like, whether it's that way or not. But there are a number of different diseases that occurred as a result of Agent Orange. Diabetes, which I've had since 1994. Ischemic heart disease, cancer of the prostate. Diabetes causes neuropathy, infections. That's why I've lost all the toes. One reason I lost all the toes on my left foot. Why I walked so long. So what does that mean now in terms of what's going on? You know, there are so many causes a person can join into to help. Cindy's been supporting Bo Hawk. And I'm going to meet him and find out exactly who he is, because I want to vote intelligently. But we can't forget our military. How long are they going to keep volunteering if they don't think the federal government and the Veterans Administration is going to support them when they get out? There'll always be fools who will do it anyway. I was a fool, 19 years old. But when we ask people to do those things, we have a responsibility to see to their care, see to their future, because they sacrificed. And all my friends sacrificed, and still are sacrificing. I wanted to bring that to your attention because I may not be preaching here every Sunday here for a while. But I'll be preaching someplace. And I'll keep telling this story as well as my story about hope. God blesses us in many, many ways. But you gotta pay attention. You gotta listen. If you pray, you have to listen, and sometimes it takes a while. I love you all for different reasons. I mean, I've got so many memories of this place. You know, the wonderful music Candace plays for us. Gets into some boogie woogie sometimes. Today's a boogie woogie day. Yeah. Ronald Reagan, a good man who has come here to help. I came here to help back in, I think it was 2017. People come here to help. And then our path takes us someplace else. And that's as God would have it. I'm a deacon and I work in the community, and I will be working in the community no matter what. Barbara, John. And we always agreed? No. Especially not in vestry. And I tell you, I had some interesting vestry meetings here. There were sparks. And there needed to be sparks here. There still needs to be sparks here. Amen. This has to be alive. It's got to be communicated to the people in this community that here they can come and find peace. Here they can come and find hope. Here they can come and find the love of God. But if we don't make it real, we're just a church on the corner. And trust me, all our churches are suffering right now from a lack of a sense of identity. We don't know who we are. We're trying to figure it out. Well, if I have my way, a big part of it's going to be around animals. Dogs and cats and lizards and snakes and butterflies. Where there is life, there is hope. Where there is life, there is purpose. And when that life is gone, there is memory. I love you, Linda. And I miss Nancy. Nancy was a big of all this. We lost her. And that was hard. It was really hard. And you all will lose others, and I will lose others, and we'll get through it, we'll go on. But somewhere along the line, the passing of someone is going to mark your soul and tell you got to do something different. Do it. Find out what it is. Do you have to be smart? No. Don't even have to have energy, just have to have a sense of purpose. I love you all, and I'll tell you more about that afterwards when we start. Eating is a good thing. Is there shrimp? I gotta ask. Did you forget the shrimp? I ain't going.
Somebody run out.
Okay. Anyway, I'll see you again here. I will. I don't know where I'm going to be exactly, physically located, but wherever I am, it's going to have animals around. That'll be all right. God bless you all.
Amen.
Time magazine. If you've seen this on the stands, I got this earlier this year. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty good. And I didn't detect a note of liberalism in it. Go on to be happy. Get this book. Thank you.